endurance on the bicycle.
Hmm. When did you get your first bike or bicycle?
Well,
Or first ride one?
May Michaels. She was my babysitter when Francis was born. And they lived up there over Tarleton. My dad went up to get her, you know. There was a housekeeper at home. And her brother had a bicycle, but there was one tire that was going on it. And my dad didn't know anything about tires or anything. So this guy put a rope, sling rope, around, you know.
Make something right
every
on.
time that knot went through, I got you'd bounce and bounce and bounce. I didn't do so damn much right until my grandmother's, well, my dad's uncle and aunt bought a bicycle, a lady's bicycle, a woman's bicycle. Oh, what the heck year could it have been? I suppose it was 1920. Got a brand new one, you know, new tires and new paint, everything was brand new on it. And when they had the auction sale, they sold it on the auction sale. My dad bought it.
Hmm.
Jesus, I polished that damn thing every day.
Wear the paint off it, huh?
Oh, God. But boy, I sure took care of it. It finally broke right in two by the pedals.
Huh. From hitting the bumps or what?
Well, rough roads.
Did you ever ride it to town?
No. About the farthest I ever rode it was down to from where Egermonts are now. Probably down to the Ring Soccer Church.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember riding it any farther than that.
About 3 or 4 miles out then.
Yeah,
You're about the limit.
the damn oil
I don't know why.
would work.
We're taping, Larry.
Huh?
We're taping you.
Okay. Well, I suppose. What were we talking about last time? Cars.
Yeah, we're going to go into that again.
Well, we didn't get into all of it. But
You
the camera took a dump on us. And
get the years involved. Where were we?
well, you had you said my dad bought a Model T touring car in May of 1918 is what you got written on here from King Bruns Company,
Yeah.
Cooperstown. And you said you remembered attending Grandma's funeral, April 6, 1918.
That'd be what? Was that Anderson or Scramsted? Anderson, wasn't it?
I don't know. And Matilda Anderson was my teacher.
Yeah.
You've been about 3rd grade?
And then he got a bicycle. We talked about that yesterday.
Yeah,
I got a bicycle.
we talked about that.
In 1918. That's an 18.
That bicycle.
Yeah,
There
we
was a bad
got that
flood.
on here.
In the spring of 1919, there was a bad flood.
Yeah. We went all the way from Oscar Reitzog's house to our barn, right through the woods with a boat.
Yeah.
And then they sold we were down to Horseshoe Hill, down to Anton Olson's for Elmer Anderson's homecoming from World War One. And we went down there with the car, and it took, I think, 2 or 3 months before we could get the car back across the river.
It got
We had
locked
to go
up.
down to 200 here, and it took 4 men with ropes to pull the car through the mud and get it over on the east side or the west side of the river.
Yeah. It said my Uncle Bex and Anton Olson
Yeah,
came home from the war. There was a party, a homecoming party.
and when we woke up in the morning, well, there was water all over down by the Rings Orchard Church. Well, it's that way now too. For every spring now.
It said Bex was a prisoner of war of the Germans
Yeah.
in World War One.
Art Johnson, Elmer Anderson, Elmer Johnson. I forget them all.
Yeah, there was quite a few that went to World War One, wasn't there?
They got to be German prisoners.
What about Alfred Knudsen? He was in
He was.
World War Two or World War One?
He was in World War One, but he wasn't any place. He was just
Stateside?
the later part of the campaign, and he never got overseas, or he just barely stayed in long enough before the armistice was signed so that he got veteran privileges.
Uh-huh. Yep. And your teacher was Matilda Anderson. Was she good?
Oh yeah,
Good
she was a
teacher.
good teacher.
Older then or younger? What was she?
Oh, I don't know. I suppose she was about 30 years old, 25, 30 at the time.
Yeah.
She was about the age of my mother. My dad was probably 5, 6 years older than she was. 19, 20. My dad is about 34 years old at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It says here too that your dad made a race car for August.
Fritz, August
Otto
and Otto Hoganson.
and Fritz
Otto
Olsen.
Model T.
Yep. What did they do with it? How did they make a race car out of it?
Well, I took everything off from it.
Made it real light?
Oh yeah. The hood, he built up around the dash on the Model T. Cut it so it was round, and then brought it back so that it was,
No wind resistance, huh?
yeah. You could barely see over the canopy. When Fritz and Otto were driving it, they had to kind of look around the outside of it on the left-hand side. Just a frame left.
Who did they race? Who did they race? Did they have races or they gathered and raced?
No. They just drove down the road. And it wasn't so, it was, they drove 20, 25 miles an hour. That'd be about the extent of it. If we got up to 35, it'd be downhill.
Yep. Was there a lot of guys that got killed off in World War One
Oh,
that you knew that didn't come home, or?
you see that Lindgren, he lost his life in
Is there any of them that you knew that personally, or?
I can't think, we didn't have any military funerals at Ringstocker or, it was just that one in Cooperstown, Gordon Lindgren,
Mm-hmm.
the Legion Post is named after him.
Yeah.
But I can't remember that there was anybody else. But there was places that they had. A lot of them lost their life.
Mm-hmm. And next year, Clara Anderson was your teacher?
Yeah, we talk about that. She married Ulrich Anderson up there where Arnold Slefton lives. And Gus Anderson was the name of the people that lived there, and they had a son by the name of Ulrich. And it's Clara Anderson started courting this Ulrich, and they got married. They got married before she got through school.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she was around 18 now. She was about 19, I suppose. And he was probably 20, 21, if that is just that much.
And she was 19 when she was teaching school?
Oh, yeah, sure. You see, Oliver didn't, he taught school right out of, he went to school 1 year.
They went to college 1 year
Yeah.
and summer school.
Summer school, they call it.
Yeah.
He got through in the spring and graduated from 8th grade, high school. I went 3 months to summer school and started teaching that fall.
Oh, is that right? I thought they had to go a year and 3 months.
No. Well, they did. They went 1 year or 2 years. But there's several of them that just went from high school right to college in September, probably the middle of August. They got themselves a teaching job and
Yeah.
$45 a month.
I think that's what Oliver did.
Yeah, Oliver got $45 a month.
I think he went to the first year of college and then summer school. And then he went to teaching. I think that's how they was.
You see, he was too young. He was too young to go to teach.
Yeah.
He had to, there was an age limit.
18 or something, didn't you?
Yeah,
19?
he wasn't. You see, he got through high school when he was young. He had to go to school a year before he became old enough to teach.
I think that girl we had teaching at the country school, Lamont Griffey, was only 19 years old, something like that, when she was teaching out there.
Yeah, pretty much so. They didn't have to. It wasn't so required to get a hell of a lot of formal education. And some of those girls,
The house was full of people.
some of those girls teaching
Asking about
school
you.
with 3
Videoing
months
what
of
Dan had to
college
say about the old days.
Oh.
were,
But
Oh,
we're gonna
young
sit down
lady?
and reminisce with them.
oh, shut it down now.
We can video you guys
Go
talking.
ahead.
Nah, we can't talk about this when we come. That ain't gonna work.
Shut it off.
Trying to get my tape done.
Oh,
See, I should try this fade.
so what's new?
Not much.
Nothing much.
Same old thing, huh?
Yeah.
Another good day.
Good for nothing.